Let's talk about digital nomad, or if you simply don't want to go back to work like in an office after the pandemic, well, maybe you're going to become one, or you'll be forced to be one because a lot of companies already realize that having employees working from home, pretty good, or not so bad anyway. They're more productive. This is something that a lot of companies are proving, Microsoft and Google. Amazon already realized that you can even have a doctor from home, okay? A doctor literally staying at home and seeing their patient virtually, giving them medicine virtually, testing them without actually being next to them. Because of the technology we have, fill out prescription and shipping that to their home immediately. So if a doctor can be a digital nomad, so can you. All right, let's talk about what is a digital nomad. Well, essentially, it's somebody capable of doing their job from anywhere around the world. And these jobs are expanding tremendously right now, okay? Even in factories, you could have people monitoring machines remotely without actually needing to be there. So unless you need to have your hands in the pot, like literally like you're a farmer, you're a factory worker, or something like that, where you have to be there, then you can easily do your job remotely, and that becomes more and more something today, as people don't want to necessarily continue living in very expensive cities and are aiming to work in the suburbs without actually having to do the commute, which is amazing. So now, how is that possible? Is it really happening? Is it because of COVID-19? The answer is no. COVID is an accelerant, okay? So COVID is actually skyrocketing the trend of working from home, but it is not in any way, shape, or form creating it. Okay, it's just something that we were forced into, that we realize, hey, it works very well. That's it. Okay, so that's the main point here. As an employer, it's amazing because you're gonna save on rent, you're gonna save on office space, you're gonna save on electricity, you're gonna save on parking, you're gonna save in every way possible. Okay, no need to clean, no need to power the lights, no need to have all kinds of benefit insurance and fire suppression systems, and the construction of the building overall, okay, can be saved if you have your employee working from home. You can also hire people from anywhere. So if somebody is more qualified in Michigan, you can hire somebody in Michigan even though your office is in New York without bringing that person in and relocating that person. Okay, you can do the same thing actually in the Philippines. Although that would become maybe outsourcing, I don't know, we're doing that already. But the point is, you can do that in your own country. It's not as common now, it's becoming very fast the norm. For people, most people don't want to go back to work. They realize that they can be just as efficient working from home, okay, so long as you have the necessary equipment. I mean, honestly, as a YouTuber, what do I care where I am in the world? I have a green screen or a background, I have a camera with a computer and a fast internet connection, and I can work anywhere on earth. So why would I be downtown New York with a very expensive rent when I can live in Vietnam, for example, for like 1/10 of the price and have a maid and a nanny and a driver and everything else, live like a king, having the same job? So what do you need to be a digital nomad? Well, you need to have a job, okay, that pays you and don't mind you working anywhere on earth. That's it. Either a job or actually being an entrepreneur as work as well, right? So like a YouTuber, for example, a doctor, a consultant, and even an attorney if you don't have to be in front of a judge. You can do that, no issues, and you can do it from anywhere. The issue that you have when you want to start to live around the world as a digital nomad is that where you're from, where's your main passport? As a Canadian, I can live anywhere on earth, okay? I can travel anywhere on earth, and it's very easy for me to stay for 6 months to a year in most countries. And if they don't want me to stay for longer, I can move to another and come back. It's not an issue, very fast. If you're from Africa, for example, and you're thinking of becoming a digital nomad in Ottawa, Canada, because you love the city, that might be more difficult, because the thing is, to immigrate to Canada, you would have to have a job in Canada. You cannot say, well, I have a guy in London that pays me to work in Africa and I want to live in Ottawa. That might be difficult. It could work. You might be able to get the visa, and if you get your visa, then you can stay there maybe as a tourist, and that's okay because you're self-sustaining, right? It's like basically being a retiree. Yeah, that's possible, but it might be a bit more difficult. You have to check this out. So what's the thing to consider? Well, definitely the internet is your first priority. Okay, if the country you're moving to has very slow internet or the internet is not stable, like the Philippines, for example, in a lot of places, not everywhere, but most cities in the Philippines, especially if you're thinking in the little island, the archipelagos, because you think, oh, I would be by the beach, it's cheap, it's nice, yes, but if your internet's not there, then how can you continue working? So this is something very important. Internet speed, internet stability, utility stability, so electricity, water, and so on. Second, can you live there at a reasonable price? There's a difference between being a digital nomad in Portugal, which is amazing, where you can live for relatively cheap and you have everything, safety and internet and everything, or in Switzerland, for example, Geneva, where it's extremely expensive to live there. So you would be able to live there great, it's safe and fast internet and everything, but it's super expensive. So you have to consider that. Then you can go for other countries like Vietnam, Romania, or whatever, where it's going to be cheap to live and you're going to have fast internet and it's relatively safe. So this is cool. You can do that. This is what most people would do. Then after that to consider is fun factor. Okay, will you be happy there? Okay, if you live in the Middle East and you cannot get alcohol, you cannot get out, everybody is like, you know, against foreigner or more or less against foreigners, maybe you're not going to be too happy. Like right now, a lot of Muslim countries are evacuating expat because the expats are becoming a bit too much in the country. This is the case in Kuwait, for example. So now they're literally forcing the expat out to give the job back to their people. So you might not be able to move there, but also it's a boring country. You cannot get alcohol, there are a lot of stuff, it's very conservative. You may not be happy there. You may not be able to raise your kid in a very good environment there. So that's a problem. You have to consider that as well. Now, the final point that you have to consider, especially if you're considering a developing nation, you have to think about security and safety. Yes, as a digital nomad, you can pack up and leave relatively easy. We're leaving in a month right now because we're tired of the country we're in. It's not hard. Okay, in our case, pack the car, pack the goods, leave, fine. If you only have your luggage and you had a fully furnished apartment or you live in a hotel or a resort, it's even easier. Okay, pack up and go. This is fine. But during the time that you're there, okay, consider security and safety and don't get fooled by the brochures, okay? If you look at Jamaica, some areas of the island, let's say Negril or Ocho Rios, very safe, very nice in the tourist areas, okay? You can stay in a hotel there. It's relatively safe, okay? But if you give me the choice between, let's say Montego Bay, St. James, for example, or Kingston, Jamaica, or living in Iraq, I will choose Iraq, okay? No joke, okay? Kingston is not safe whatsoever, okay? I'd never had a bodyguard in Iraq. I had a bodyguard in Kingston, Jamaica. Jamaica is not safe. Now, it's the same thing with a bunch of other countries around the world, okay? So some cities, some countries, the city will be very safe. Let's say Manila in the Philippines, fine. Go down to Mindanao Island, that's another matter, okay? Now you're becoming, according to the UNE, which is very bad, it's a war zone. It's in the same country. So if you want to have a global idea, you can try one site that I like. It's $20 a year, but it could be worth it for you. There's others that are free. The one I'm thinking about is nomadlist.com. It's not bad. It's actually giving you 5 different points and a good description, and you can sort it and filter it based on what you want. So you'd have an overall score, the cost that it costs you to actually stay there, how stable is the internet, how fun the place is, and how safe the place is. So you can check this out. It's a good way, it's a good start. But then once you know, deepen your research, okay? And if you're moving there just with your luggage, that's fine. Just go establish yourself there, check it out, see if you like the city, see if you like the country. If you don't, pack up, move, no problem. Especially if you can travel very easily without visa, that really helps a lot. So being a digital nomad is fun, and like I said, it's proof, okay, is that right now the price of houses in the suburb are increasing tremendously versus the cities. Right now, people know they will not return to work every day in a building downtown, so they are moving to the suburb. So that's it. Digital nomad is the way of tomorrow, and I hope you're going to participate in it. And if you like the video, give me the thumbs up, and no matter where you are on Earth, you can always subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.